Good morning, everybody. I'm Jane Elkindini, Supervisor of the Town of Mamaroneck. I want to welcome you here today to our town center for some exciting news. And without further ado, I'll introduce our County Executive, George Latimer.
Thank you very much, Madam Town Supervisor Janini. It's an honor to be back in a room that I've been in many, many times in my life, personally having had the great opportunity to represent the town of Mamaroneck through 4 different positions in public office. But today, as County Executive, I'm joined here by our Deputy County Executive, Ken Jenkins, our Deputy Director of Operations, Emily Saltzman, who's a resident of the town, and also by Catherine Parker, who's the county legislator that's represented the town of Mamaroneck for more than a decade and done so well. We're here today to announce a sum of money that we in the county government have earmarked for a project that is being worked on by the town of Mamaroneck to provide affordable housing. The project itself is still very much in the stages of being worked through by the town. But the county government, which cannot directly develop housing itself, there is no housing function that we can perform, works with local municipal governments when they've made a determination that they have a site and a possible developer and a path by which affordable housing can be accomplished. In this particular case, we are earmarking, announcing today with the oversized check, which I assume Jane will take to the bank as soon as this conference is over, $3 million of county funds directly available to accommodate the operation of this facility. The county puts aside money authorized through the Board of Legislators for land acquisition, for infrastructure improvements, and we have some other ways to incentivize projects as well. But in this particular case, we know that affordable housing is a need all across the county. We've been involved in developing approximately 2,500 units of affordable housing over the course of this administration. We have another 4,000 or so in the pipeline. We treat these 40 units as part of the pipeline, which we hope will come to pass. But there's so many steps in developing affordable housing that makes it very difficult until you actually have the construction completed and the door turns with the key. This would not be possible if it was not for the diligent work of our operations team. Joan McDonald is our Director of Operations, and Emily Saltzman, Deputy Director of Operations. They work through the various different departments and the capital project process to make sure that we can take an idea, which is supporting affordable housing, and help the county do its share so that the town of Mamaroneck can accomplish this and have this as something that's important to the town. This is also not possible unless there's the support of the Westchester County Board of Legislators. Catherine Parker, as I mentioned, has represented the town of Mamaroneck for over 10 years. She's a former majority leader of the county board, and she and I have worked together over a long period of time in public policy issues. She's been a strong supporter of affordable housing, and this is one of those opportunities to advance that. Because of my time and grade in government, that I've been around for a long time, I remember when the Homicks Park Apartments affordable housing project was completed. And that was quite a while ago, more than 15 years ago, 20 years ago, right at the front entrance, basically, to the Homicks Middle School. And I also remember when we had a Habitat for Humanity home, a single-family unit created right off of Weaver Street. There's been affordable housing done in the village of Mamaroneck that is within the town of Mamaroneck. And this area is one where affordability is at a premium. This is a desirable place to live, as most of Westchester County is. When we want to try to make a project affordable, we have to add public money in some way, shape, or form to reduce the overall cost so that the developer, who's going to have to borrow money in the market context, has the ability to build the units and put them out there in a rent roll that's less than market because they've been able to get a subsidy that helps them do that. When we want to reach the poorest of our neighbors, we definitely need federal money, because at that point, the subsidy follows not the unit, but the individual. That's what the Section 8 program it is. So in this particular project, we're looking at helping incent affordable housing on a piece of land that's been identified by the town, that the town is working through with the developer, but the county is there to do our fair share, and that fair share is an earmark commitment of at least $3 million. Now, that is a baseline number. As the negotiations go forward, Jane may, pull on me and say, George, you got to come for a little bit more. I'll check with Carol. Is it okay, Catherine? Can we do it through the board? And if we can get all signed off, we'll be good. Members of the town board that are here, I assume Jane will introduce them, but they too are part of the process. And I would highlight this before I ask Ken Jenkins to say a few words. We function within different governmental responsibilities. but we're friends. We know each other. We see each other at community events. We talk informally about things. I remember when Anant served on the school board here in Mamaroneck Town. And I know the involvement that Sabrina had in the public schools as a PTA person before she started her service on the board. And Jane was a village trustee, and we know each other. And that knowing each other helps us get through the governmental barriers that exist. And what you want to do is good public policy. So I'm happy to be here. I'm also happy to be joined by my colleague, the Deputy County Executive, Ken Jenkins, who's involved in every one of these decisions and has been a tremendous contributor to the success of this administration. Ken.
Thanks, George. And this is definitely another exciting opportunity as we continue to work through the challenges of developing fair and affordable housing throughout Westchester County. From the very beginning of the Latimer administration, George has been able to lead the particular charge, be able to work with all of the communities throughout Westchester County to address the tremendous housing need. Besides working with our colleagues on the County Board of Legislators to actually get done a comprehensive report that was an analysis of all of the housing that was needs in Westchester County, and there's going to be an update to that shortly. But the reality is that it doesn't happen alone. As County Executive Lara just pointed out, the reality is that we have to have all of the pieces of the puzzle working together, and it starts right here at the local level in the town. And to be able to take the work that the town has done in identifying a need and finding a way to take that piece of property and turn that into housing that can be fitting for all the people that need that kind of housing here in the town of Mamaroneck is the challenge. But we do that throughout Westchester County, and it's because of George Latimer's leadership in making sure that we've been able to go throughout the county and make a difference. And with a great team led with Joan McDonald and Emily Saltzman from operations, our Commissioner of Planning now, Blanca Lopez, to make sure that we're able to develop new and exciting techniques, such as a flex fund that put $100 million into fair and affordable housing that we're going through a process now to make sure the projects that the town approves or any town approves that has some gaps in it because of supply chain issues and cost increases, as well as increases in interest rates to finance those projects, working with HCR in the state of New York and Governor Hochul to make sure that we get these projects actually done for the people that need them. It's a tremendous amount of work. It happens with the partnership with all the folks all around, but it starts with the leadership of George Latimer and making sure that we go out to the communities, whether it's here in town hall in Mamaroneck or right around Westchester County, to bring the mountain to Muhammad as opposed to the other way around, to the House of Pain, as we've been told it was called in the past years, but not with us, right? That's why it makes a difference every day, and that's only a part of what we do in Westchester County. There's so many other things that the county participates and shares with the towns, and whether that's sales tax or I know my good friend Catherine Parker, Legislator Catherine Parker, is going to talk about Flint Park for a minute, because I was privileged to be out there when the park first opened with Legislator Judy Myers. It's actually a picture I have on my wall because it was another one of those proud moments of how the county works together to make sure that do the investments with all the local municipalities to make that different when all of the partners aren't always there the way they need. So again, it's a great day for us here in Mamaroneck, for the town, and for Westchester County as far as making sure that we're developing more fair and affordable housing. Thanks a lot, George.
Next, I'd like to bring Catherine Parker up to say a few words, but I want to just highlight some of the things that, through Catherine's advocacy, that have been done here in the town of Mamaroneck by the county government. We've been able to address a longstanding concern that the town has had in addressing flooding, which is significant. The county has allocated through the budget process, at Catherine's urging, $300,000 to help in a comprehensive assessment of Mamaroneck's stormwater network. And that network evaluation is the first step toward flood mitigation. We know that there are major issues that relate to flooding all across the town and the related villages that are part of the town, and Catherine's been a leader in doing that. There's much talk about the U.S. Army Corps of Engineer project. We have ensured through Catherine's work and our work that $17 million, that is a county contribution, is not only in the budget, it's not just earmarked, it's not just something that we'll try to get to by and by. That money is ready to be spent through authorization as soon as the State Department of Environmental Conservation signs off on what we can do with our $17 million. We're waiting for 88 million, but we have 17 of our money that we're ready to spend right now to help in that project. And that project, while it benefits Mamaroneck Village in its core, stretches back into the town of Mamaroneck along the Sheldrake River corridor and the flooding that's involved along the brook. There have been road enhancements on Mamaroneck Avenue. You've seen Mamaroneck Avenue, which goes through the northern part of the village into Harrison and into White Plains. It was a disastrous situation in the last couple of years. We've done a complete reconstruction of that. Sometimes when you have something you don't like, you complain about it. When something gets fixed, you don't remember to compliment on it. But that particular project was one that was longstanding. You got plenty of calls about it. I got plenty of calls about it. And a couple of years ago now, we put that to bed. We also have plans to do repaving of Murray Avenue, which is a county-owned road. When I was a county legislator a long time ago, it was repaved, so I remember the last time it was repaved, and it needs repaving again. It's a well-trafficked road, and it's a link from the town into the village of Larchmont when you're coming from the north. Ken mentioned our sharing back of sales tax. This is something that we've worked on in our joint efforts. We were able to achieve more sales tax revenue to help offset property taxes at the county level. But we're the only county in downstate New York that shares back with every town and every village. And we even cut aside a little money for the school districts. No other county does that. Putnam doesn't share back anything. Sullivan County, Suffolk County doesn't share back any of it. We share back sales tax. And when that comes to the town, that helps the town balance its budget and hopefully keep its property taxes more manageable. That, too, is advocacy that Catherine has been involved in. And, of course, all these environmental achievements, which the town rightfully is proud of, being named a climate-smart community and recertified recently, that's a town accomplishment, but that comes with the advocacy and the help of your friends at the county level. And you have no finer friend than Catherine Parker, your county legislator.
Thank you, County Executive Latimer. I want to repeat a number that Deputy County Executive Jenkins said, $100 million for affordable housing for Westchester County. That is not a small sum of money, and it's a huge increase over the previous administration. And it really goes and speaks to the leadership that we have here in Westchester. Thanks to County Executive Latimer and Deputy County Executive Jenkins. They really have had a vision of how do we tackle this massive issue for Westchester residents, affordability and affordable housing. And we are working tirelessly throughout Westchester. And in fact, 2,400 housing units have come online, and there are another 4,000 in the pipeline. That's, again, a significant improvement over what, when they came into office, it's amazing how far we have actually come. But there's other significance to the leadership right here for the town of Mamaroneck. Supervisor Jane Elkind-Eny has had a vision all along of what needs to happen to really put the town of Mamaroneck in good position for the future. She's looked at their comprehensive plan and really has spent time with the Land Use Leadership Alliance out of Pace Law School and has focused on settling and finding solutions to Mamaroneck's issues, including affordable housing. It is so exciting to be here with you, Supervisor Elkind-Eny, to recognize that you have taken that idea and it is actually coming to fruition, and just really exciting. And I have to say kudos to all of you on the board for the work that you have done to pave the way. Thank you.
So we'll turn it back over to the supervisor, and then I'll make some closing comments to loop this together. But as Catherine said, our relationship working with the town and with the various villages is an ongoing one. There's a host of policy issues. Here we're talking about affordable housing. We've referenced what we can do in terms of the flooding issue, but there's 1,000 different issues. When we make the Beeline buses free during the summer, or we take them off of diesel fuel and we put them on electricity, we change the air quality of the buses that come through, the 61 bus that comes up Palmer Avenue and goes all the way through, and the one that comes from Dobbs Ferry and works its way through the Sound Shore as well. All of those things are things that are important, and the town leadership under Jane and her fellow members of the council. I've sat in this room and heard the supervisor give her State of the Town message. I was here when Anant was sworn in to the council with his family. I was here when Sabrina was sworn in. This is part of an ongoing commitment, working together at different levels of government. But the leadership of the town is essential, and so to comment further about this project and others, the town supervisor, Jane Elkanini.
Thank you, George. I want to just introduce my colleagues, Sabrina Fiddleman and Anant Nambiar, who are on the town board with me. When you're in local government, it is really critical to have relationships with other governments. There's so much that we can handle here, but there's an awful lot that we need help with, and I could not ask for a better team on the county than George Latimer, Ken Jenkins, and Catherine Parker. I feel very, very supported, and the town does by them. So when we realize or are dealing with flooding, and we realized that the entire stormwater system needed to be studied to the tune of $300,000. I picked up the phone and I called the county, and miraculously $300,000 was in the budget to subsidize the cost of our study. And when Murray Avenue is being repaved, which is a county road, for $1 million, I picked up the phone and I called the county and I said, could you please put an extra $500,000 in the budget while you have the road open? If the study finds any defects, we want the money available to fix them, because it's more efficient to do it when the road's already, open. And sure enough, $500,000 was in the budget. And now, when I recognize, we, as a town board priority, that we need more affordable housing in the town, I didn't pick up the phone. I drove to the county office building to the 9th floor. And I met with George Latimer, Ken Jenkins, Catherine Parker, Norma Drummond, and Emily Saltzman. They were all there. And $3 million was earmarked because we realized that the biggest impediment in our town to more affordable housing is the land cost, and it's hard for a developer to make the numbers work when the land is so expensive. So miraculously, we have a check here today for $3 million, and I can't tell you how wonderful it is to feel that support from the larger government to help us with what we need to get done, and we couldn't do it without them as partners. So thank you for coming, always being there for us. We really appreciate it.
So I want to close this off by thanking again all of our partners for being here today. It's important to understand that it's not about the dollars. The dollars are essential. Without the dollars, nothing happens. But it's about the end result. If what we're doing is just moving dollars around, that isn't the purpose. But we want to see improvements so that the people who live in these communities, for our purposes here today, Larchmont Village, Mamaroneck Town, but in the more broader context, everybody who lives in Westchester County, that they see positive improvement, that they see capital projects that actually happen, that reduce the problems that they experience. And when you're driving down Weaver Street, and your cell phone service now continues to be connected instead of dies at Bonnie Briar, credit the town government for putting together the network necessary to maintain that. It's a small thing, but it wasn't a small thing when those phone calls would drop all the time coming past Bonnie Briar. That's just one small example of trying to get to results. And that's what today is about. We're very grateful to work with our partners in the town. We know that there'll be additional projects we'll work on together. But even if you're watching this in the county feed in other parts of Westchester County, we have the same commitment to Ossining and Briarcliff. We have the same commitment to Rybrook and Portchester. We have the same commitment to Lewisboro and North Salem and Somers and Yorktown and the city of Yonkers and the city of Mount Vernon. This is what democracy is. It is we the people, those of us who are elected by the people, trying to solve problems that people have determined are important. And if you consider that we accomplish these things, why should there be an alternative to democracy? I'm George Latimer, Westchester County Executive. Thank you for joining us here, and I think it's time for them to get the big check, officially.
I'm so excited.
There you go. So take it straight to the bank. I don't know which one it's drawn on.